And a very good afternoon to you. Simon Hill and Daniel McBreen with you for 10's coverage of the FFA Cup, which continues today with the sort of fixture football fans simply love. Floreat Athena from the NPL in WA against Adelaide United, the professional club from the A-League, who also happen to be the cup winners for the last two editions. Indeed, they've had the trophy in their cabinet for almost 3 years now, thanks in part to COVID. Leeds Stadium, the venue, and a little bit of history being created today with the first ever cup tie outside of the 2015 final to be held at a weekend. Will we have a cup set today? It is possible. Floreat, celebrating their 70th anniversary this year, are fresh off a grand final, albeit one they lost. Adelaide, of course, still very much in pre-season. And as we've seen before, these are the sorts of conditions that do offer the chance of a giant killing. And the Reds have been there before, losing to Redlands United in the round of 32 back in 2016. Here's a look at the teams. Two big absentees for Floreat. Captain Dean Evans and goalkeeper Jason Saldaris both have knee injuries, although interestingly the latter has been named on the bench. His brother Chris Saldaris does start. He's the club's top scorer with 10 goals. The two visa players are Sean McManus, who played in Scotland's lower leagues with Cowdenbeath, and Andrew Palmer, who played professionally in the Philippines. Skipper Ludovic Boy had a brief spell in the A-League with Perth back in 2009. Adelaide United had debuts to new signings Jacob Tratt and returning legend Isaias, along with 17-year-old Bernardo Oliveira, son of another club legend Casio. There's no Craig Goodwin, Stefan Morg, Michael Jakobsen or Juan Day, all out with injuries. Mo Toure leads the line, and there are another two teenagers on the bench, Arby Mollus and Ethan Alagich, son of another ex-Red, Richie. Well, conditions near perfect in WA, temperatures around 90 degrees. Our referee today is Adam Fielding, who's taken charge of 41 A-League matches, including, interestingly, 11 involving Adelaide United, and the Reds have won just one of those 11. Pitch looks in good condition. Are the conditions right, though, Daniel McBreen, for a shock?
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, well, look, for Athena, we'll be hoping so. They've had a relatively good season this year, runners-up in their NPL season and grand finalists, as you mentioned, although in that grand final we're down 5-0 after 23 minutes, so I'm sure they've discussed some of that defensive problems this week, and they know they have to be on their toes to stop this Adelaide team, which we saw from last year. A very attacking mindset, young, confident players looking to prove their point, so it'll be a big upset, but one that they believe that I'm sure that they can achieve.
It's a public holiday in WA tomorrow, so a good gallery on hand at the Leeds Stadium. And we're all set for go in this FFA Cup round of 32 clash. And it is Floreat in the blue and white that get us underway, kicking from left to right, as we say, celebrating their 70th birthday. The club founded by Greek migrants back in 1951. And this would arguably be the biggest win in their history. But the Reds, of course, the professional outfit and very much the cup specialists down the years. Winners of this competition on 3 previous occasions, including the last 2. And they'll be expecting to progress through to the round of 16 yet again. Here's an early test for George Fester up against Mo Toure. He's going to have his hands full with the promising youngster today.
Mo Toure is one of those players I spoke about earlier with a point to prove, I guess. You look down the list from the top scorers for Adelaide last season, and all 3 of them are absent today. So the weight of the world will be on him today to try and get those goals. He's shown more than capable last season as well. Very robust player, loves to throw himself about.
Tommy Juric, of course, has left the club during the off-season. There is George Timoteo playing at the other end of the pitch for the Reds, alongside Jacob Tratt in the heart of the Adelaide defence. Floreat with the throw, which is a touch too high for their captain, Ludovic Boy. And an offside flag will give the Reds the free kick. Here is Carl Weerts, who has an impeccable cup pedigree. He won 2 NSL Cups with Adelaide City, 2 pre-season Cups with Adelaide United, and those with longer memories might recall he once scored a third-round FA Cup winner past David Seaman, playing for Sheffield United against Arsenal back in 1996. He is, of course, the modern-day Reds coach. This is Luis Dorigo looking to shift the ball on quickly for Ryan Kitto. And outside him has Josh Cavallo, but it's straight into the arms of the Floreat goalkeeper, Thomas Chudi. Brought in late in the season to replace the injured Jason Saldaris.
Early sign there from Cavallo. He'd like to get forward, overlapping run on the outside. It's exactly what Carl Weert would like to see.
Had a good season, didn't he? Josh Cavallo last year, been rewarded with an extension to his deal, another 2 years. Real find after signing from Western United.
Yeah, they were a lot of youngsters obviously in last year throughout the league who really lit up the competition and really earned their contracts, and he was one of them. Love the positive play that he brings.
Reds moving forward down the right-hand side through Javi Lopez. Halloran has his progress halted. Good timely challenge from Dennis Gallen. Fans enjoying the mid-afternoon sunshine in Perth. And you're just getting a glimpse there on the right of the ornate old grandstand that may be demolished after today's game. Come back to that, because here come Floreat Athena. Robert Harding is waiting in the box if they can find him. And in the end, it's straight into the gloves of James Delinoff. But a promising situation there for the NPL outfit.
Yeah, it was a nice little play down that left-hand side. I thought Harding could have held his run a little bit away. He sort of closed down his space as he got in the box, but a nice early warning sign that they can create.
Here is Bernardo. Similar in stature to his father, isn't he, Cassio? Similar running style too. Big day for him with his senior debut for the Reds. Here's the more experienced Javi Lopez. Should be easy enough for Thomas Chudi.
It'll be interesting to see the fluency with Adelaide United today.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not Sven-Göran Eriksson. I think he'd like to be, can't it? Oh, dear.
Well, Sven will be looking to see how his team goes today. I believe they haven't had a chance to play any friendlies as yet due to the current situation. The competition's still going ahead with NPL in Adelaide. So it might be a little bit rusty, might be a little lack of cohesion in the team.
Started reasonably fluently. Adelaide United learnt their first day opponents, of course, this week with the release of the A-League draw. Strangely enough, they'll be back in Perth to face the Glory on the 20th of November, so chance to test out the hotel accommodation, if nothing else. Of course, you played half a season for Perth Glory back in the day, Mr. McBreen. Scored a few goals too.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed my time at Perth. There were wonderful weather, wonderful people.
It was missed time by Luis Dorigo. Philip Arnold trying to dig it out in midfield for Floreat, but instead it's the Reds down the left with Cavallo, and now Mo Toure looking to get the jump on the defender. It's quite breezy, which has held the ball up in the air for Bernardo. Back through Javi Lopez. And Mo Toure with the first effort on target, but routine for Chudi.
Yeah, it's not a bad header from that area, just guiding it towards goal. But we saw with Floreat Athena in the grand final, they were very open on the counter-attack. They just have to be careful when they go forward that they don't leave those space for Toure to run into in behind fullbacks.
Good strength by Cavallo and a lovely touch back to him by Ryan Kitto. Cavallo's delivery steered away by Gallen. It's the Floreat bench. Their coach is Vas Vujicic, who was actually a teammate of Carl Veert back in the NSL days. Vujicic, a young goalkeeper with Adelaide City. As Cavallo puts the cross in. And met on the full, but not too cleanly by Bernardo.
Adelaide just testing now. Ball's in that wide area, particularly down this left-hand side in the early minutes. Able to get crosses in the box. So Mo Torre just gesturing with the last cross to put it in front. Let me run onto it.
This is the third time Floreat Athena have made the round of 32. They lost on both previous occasions. 2-1 to Melbourne City in 2016 at Dorrien Gardens. Then 4-3 against Adelaide Olympic in the last edition of the Cup in 2019. They've got a chance potentially down the right here. Robert Harding is giving chase, and Timoteo was across too forcefully for Adam Fielding's liking. It's going to be a free kick. Good situation this for Floreat.
Yeah, great area, great run from Harding. At first I didn't think he was going to get to the ball, but did well, got the first touch, and Timoteo just a little late, clattered into him. It's a very dangerous situation. This is the kind of situation that Floreat would be looking for.
Needs a good delivery from their English import, Andrew Palmer. Philip Arnold just trying to make his move on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cut back instead, rather weak ball into the area in the end by Ludovic Boy.
Well, it was definitely on the short ball. He was in acres of space, Boy, but just mishit the cross.
Now for a throw off, Marco Santalucia. There is Mo Toure. Still just 17 years of age, remarkable really. Seems to have been around for a while. But as we say, with Tomi Juric leaving, maybe a big opportunity for him or his brother Al Hassan or Kusini Yengi to stake a claim at the point of the attack.
Yeah, well, they've got some real competition in that spot, which is great for the club and for the players. It drives them, pushes them all on to really perform at their best every day to try and hold that spot. And as a club and as a coach, that's exactly what you want in your team, competition for places. They certainly have that in that striking area.
And they will get opportunities. Speaking of Carl Veert, I think their pre-season signings are pretty much done. Of course, they have also repatriated George Blackwood, who's not involved today. He's another option. Almost 10 minutes played at Leeds Stadium, which has become a bit of a fortress for Floreat Athena this season. Only Perth Glory NPL outfit have won at this venue in the current campaign. Palmer and Arnold getting busy, and it'll break here for Ludovic Boy. Javi Lopez with a touchback, which was a touch short for his goalkeeper. Delianov helps him out.
Yeah, just a little under hit there. A little bit of a decision between Delianov. Almost allowed the striker to nip in before the goalkeeper.
Here's McManus. And then a foul by Santalucia. Here's a teacher by day, Marco Santalucia. Here's Mo Toure, but it's going to be pulled back by the whistle for offside. A reminder that you can keep up to date with all the latest FFA Cup news via the official website, the ffacup.com.au. Rather staggered start to this year's competition, of course, due to the pandemic. In fact, it's not for offside, it's for holding back his opponent, George Fester, Mo Toure.
He wasn't too happy with that, Mo Toure, with the referee's call, but in his position, if Floreat Athena want to press up high, then it creates a space for him to run back. I think he would be happy about that. Give him some opportunities to get in some space and open those legs.
It's been a relatively solid start by Floreat Athena. No major causes for concern defensively.
Again, it's Torre just breaking from central out to this left side.
George Festra has been given the job of looking after Torre, it seems, today. A barber by trade. We could all do with one of those at the moment. In the lockdown in the east. Luis Dorigo to give chase successfully. Javi Lopez turning back. Square forward to Mateo. Kito. Isaias, who's returned on a 3-year contract, which one or two people have raised an eyebrow or two given his age, but pretty sure he's got one eye on potentially coaching.
A quality player, glad to see him back in our competition.
Crossing towards the near post where Kito was lurking, but Gallen stood his ground. Awkward ball, this one for Jacob Tratz. And he's lost out, at least momentarily, to Ludovic Boy.
It's probably that little bit of rustiness I spoke about earlier, just judging the flight of the ball, a little bit windy. Just quite quiet, find your groove.
Here's McManus on the left. Young Scott who played for Cowdenbeath and Livingston and was a junior at Wraith Rovers. Born in Kirkcaldy, formerly your parish, Mr. McBreen, during your days with Falkirk.
Yeah, I've been to all those places as well. Seems like I've been everywhere.
A long launch and helped on, but James Delinoff, always the favourite to win that one, ahead of Robert Harding. Kito, easily away from Boy. Fancies his chances against Chris Saldaris, who believes that the final touch came off the Adelaide player, but Adam Fielding disagrees.
I think Adam Fielding got that one correct. See Kito looking to use his pace, get around the outside.
Yeah, I think the ref got it right.
Yeah. I think Saldaris got the last touch.
So it's going to be Bernardo's corner, drilled in low and hard towards that near post. Pop out for Toure. He finds the space. Returned by Isaias towards Bernardo. Step over and finds the angle for the cross and headed over in the end. Ben Halloran.
Got a fist to the back of the head for his troubles, with Judy coming out to punch. But they're just starting to show some signs, Adelaide. Some nice balls into the box, a little bit of pressure.
They have now won 10 games straight in the FFA Cup, Adelaide United, since they lost the 2017 final to Sydney FC, scoring 26 goals in that run, conceding just the 6. And that loss to Sydney, incidentally, their only one in this competition since they were beaten by Redlands United. Seen safely behind by Gallen for a goal kick. It's a remarkable cup record they have, the Reds.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Almost made it their own, this competition. Dennis Gallen, who works in a water management company during the week. One of 3 survivors from that round of 32 tie against A-League opposition in 2016 when they lost 2-1 to Melbourne City. gave a good account of themselves that day. And they're doing okay here as well at the moment. Break here for Kitto. Gallen putting his boot through it.
Yeah, probably didn't need to. Just a little bit of communication from his teammates. Still under pressure now.
Quickly taken throw. Cavallo with time to measure it in. And there is the opening goal through Luis Dorigo. Stooping to conquer. Placing it firmly in the corner. Beautiful delivery and a terrific header. And the cup holders lead.
Yeah, it was a lovely delivery from Cavallo, but you look at Dorigo there, comes from midfield, no one tracking the runner in acres of space, and it's a wonderful header. The goalkeeper thinking the ball was going to go further across the back of the goal, found that near bottom corner. And we spoke just seconds before about possibly not needing to clear the ball, a little bit of communication, extra pressure, and when you're playing against A-League opposition in the class of Adelaide United, you can't give them those kind of opportunities. A lovely ball in, lovely run, great header.
Well, he doesn't score too often, Luis Dorigo, just one last season against the Newcastle Jets, but he's on the mark here. And the cup holders are back in the groove once more.
You're going to have to see Floreat Athena now. Obviously, they need to score a goal. We spoke beforehand off air, Simon, myself and you, about if they concede an early goal, they'd have to step out, and this is when you can cause more problems. You need to go and press. And if I was Mo Toure, I'd start licking my lips now. There'd be more space for him. Kiddo as well.
And it was the fact, really, that Floreat Athena just switched off momentarily from the throw as well.
Yeah.
Adelaide were alive to that possibility, which gave Cavallo the chance. Oh, it's a very firm challenge by Timoteu on Harding, which is not his first of the game.
He certainly let Harding know he's in for a game, hasn't he? That's his second one now.
Boom. He's a big unit as well, isn't he, George Timoteu?
Yeah. I wonder if Floreat will go with the more conventional ball in after last effort.
See if they can put a bit of pressure on James Delianoff. The wind will carry that one through to the goalkeeper, though. James Delianoff, former Melbourne City and Western United goalkeeper, but now very much getting his first team opportunity with the Reds. Minutes played, and Luis Dorigo's goal separating the teams. Kitto's been very busy in the early stages, threading it through nicely for Halloran. The return cut out by Sean McManus. There's no foul by Kitto as he tried to retrieve the ball. And then Toure and Bernardo getting their wires somewhat crossed.
Yeah, a bit of misunderstanding there. Toure going for the outside in run. Bernardo thinking it's the opposite. But that'll come with time. More time on the training pitch, more time in matches. Start to develop an understanding.
Sean McManus, you just got a brief glimpse of there. Could be a threat today for Floreat, not just because of the level he's played at, but his overall fitness, as Mo Toure's strength will carry him through here. He's got two defenders around him. Cavallo arriving, Toure looking for the angle. Little layoff for Bernardo. It's a good save, that, by Thomas Chudi to deny Adelaide a second goal, because that was hit with quite some pace.
Yeah, it was well worked. Toure holding the ball up, bringing other players into play, and the strike looked like it was bound for the top corner. Chudi with a good two-handed save. It's another Adelaide corner now.
Which Bernardo will take. Gets a second bite of the cherry. Still going, and we'll try and curl it. Beaten away by the goalkeeper again. Nervy moments for Floreat Athena.
And Bernardo seems every time he gets the ball 1v1, he wants to take the player on. Real positive, looking to get crosses into the box, trying to fashion a shot. Love that positive mindset from these young players.
Ambrosio looking to make progress down that left-hand side, but Adelaide had numbers. And a push by Tratz.
Well, the Adelaide defenders definitely letting the Floreat strikers know that they're there. Big, physical, strong. Not giving them time to dwell on the ball.
Here's McManus. Don't quite have a trick in his kickback to get past Javi Lopez. He's wriggled clear here, though. Doesn't quite get the return. Javi Lopez, the Spaniard, one of 3 since the return of Isaias. Ryan Kitto's pace might just cause a problem here, but Chudi out together.
For a moment there, I thought Kiddo was going to get to that ball first. Just the long heave-ho down the line. Showed his pace.
You can see from that clearance how much the wind is playing a part in those long aerial balls forward as well. Kitto running straight into Ludovic Boy. There is the skipper for Floreat Athena, made just the solitary A-League appearance for Perth Glory back in 2009 against Melbourne Victory. He's the club's longest serving player now. Floreat, that is, not Perth Glory.
I'm glad you cleared that one up.
Isaias. Timoteo. Harding made the block. And this is a useful ball forward for Harding, and he's got the wrong side of Timoteo. And the whistle goes. Now, what's the decision here for Timoteo? This could be interesting. It's a yellow card for George Timoteo. Thoughts, Daniel McBreen?
Well, if I'm honest, Simon, my first thought's that if he's given the foul, he's going to produce the red card. He's outside the box. Harding gets his body across him, a little touch on the ankle there.
That's a clear goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, I believe he's going to get a shot off on goal. And, you know, outside the box, it's a red card. Inside, it's a yellow. But
I guess the only question mark is the presence there of Jacob Tratt, who was almost level. You can see what the Floreat Athena players make of that verdict.
I may be biased being a striker, Simon, but for me, I think he's getting a touch there and he's getting a shot off. I don't think Tratt's going to impede the shot.
I have to say I'm inclined to agree, but there we go.
Yeah, it's a big call. But again, Harding causing problems.
And Timoteo, you have to say, might be a touch fortunate that he wasn't booked for 2 of the previous challenges as well. And of course, the second yellow would have equaled a red. Anyway, it is a free kick, still a very promising situation for Floreat Athena. Ludovic Boy and Philip Arnold discussing who to take it. A wall of 4 for James Delianov. There is potentially a gap for Ludovic Boy, and he goes for it, but it's straight into that defensive wall, which stood its ground. Here's another test for Delianov, and he's passed that one with flying colours, but a big talking point.
Yeah, that's a big call. That's a massive moment in the game, and I'm sure the Floreat Athena coaching staff and players will be disappointed that that wasn't a red card. And I'm sure Adelaide especially Timoteo, with, as you said, Simon, with those extra couple of tackles that he had beforehand, it already let Harding know that he's about. That would have really changed the dynamic of this game. But again, promising signs from Floreat going forward, Harding in particular.
It's combative stuff, as you'd expect. Proper cup tie football. And Floreat Athena just reminding Adelaide that they're not just here for the experience. Cushion header by Tratt. Timoteo clearing his lines. Torre impeded by Festa. And there's a bit of heat out there.
Yeah, it's certainly sparked the game up. If Adelaide thought they were in for an easy ride once they scored, Floreat Athena's got other ideas on that.
Game just starting to simmer a little bit. After Adelaide were comfortably in control in the early stages. They do still lead thanks to Louis Dorigo's header. Which was provided by this man, Josh Cavallo. Here's the goal scorer. Didn't quite reel it in. Cavallo again with time. Oh. The step over was for the cameras, perhaps. The cross, not for the highlights reel.
I think he got a. He'll definitely say he got a bad bubble there, but it looked like it just took a little bounce just as he was in the motion of doing his cross. But again, Cavallo looking to get down this left-hand side. It's been a highlight, I guess, for Bernardo and himself. They look to take on their opposition players, look to really create opportunities.
Dorigo trying to get a foot in to nick it away from Palmer. Little friendly greeting into the back of George Festa by Mo Torre.
Yeah, there's lots of little niggles around the field. Just off the play and behind, you can see players, just little niggles at each other. Starting to get some feeling in the game.
Harding was on his heels. One in the air by Chris Soldaris. Breaks here for Palmer, but straight at Dorigo. Thumped forward by Gallen, but not with any great accuracy.
It's more a hit and hope, that one. Well, Adelaide don't want to get caught in this niggly side of the game. They need to just get on with the football.
Ooh, now, there was a high boot there. Yeah. Ben Halloran went in stud showing on Nick D'Ambrosio and becomes the second Adelaide United player to go into the book.
It was a poor first touch. I think a little bit of frustration in there. Just left that foot hanging with the studs up. And it's exactly what Carl Viet will not want his players to be getting involved in.
I can assure you it is Ben Halloran who got the yellow ticket. Here's the free kick from Ludovic Boy. Again, the wind just takes that on its way towards Delianov. It's been a disappointment for Floreat. They've had a handful of free kicks in promising situations.
They have. Been 3 or 4 free kicks now where you think if they could just put some good delivery in or a nice little combination, and hasn't quite come off yet. Delianov hasn't really been tested at all in goals. It's bread and butter for him to come and collect those. They give the ball away now.
See what Floreat Athena can do with it. It's Sean McManus on the charge. Outside him is Boy. Useful looking delivery. Might be a chance here, just wouldn't sit for Andrew Palmer.
It's McManus again. He's looked lively when he gets on the ball, and Harding has caused problems in behind Timoteo and now in the box as well. interesting in that second half with the breeze. They have Harding running in behind Timotheo. I'd be selling him that. Cause problems running behind. He's on a booking. Use your pace to your advantage.
Lopez. See, the ball does bobble in places. That with the wind making it a little bit tricky. Fired out towards Cavallo. Halloran was looking to give him the return, but again, the chemistry just not quite there. Palmer. McManus trying to shield it away from Lopez. Quickly taken throw. A little bit too quick for Ludovic Boy in the end.
I think Adelaide now just need to calm the game down a little bit. Get the ball, move it around. Just take control, take the sting out of it. Got past these first few minutes where Floreat Athena probably thought that it could have been a red card and fired them up. They just need to kill that enthusiasm a little bit. Just maybe move the ball around, make them chase it. Wait for that perfect opportunity to go forward.
The other thing we should mention is that essentially ahead of James Delianoff, this is almost an entirely new defensive backline for the Reds after losing Ryan Strain and Jordan Elsey. Michael Maroney's retired as well. So new combinations at play, which take a while to gel, particularly when you're in pre-season.
Yeah, definitely, Simon. And that just comes with time. Time on the pitch, games, video sessions.
I thought you were going to say video games then. Here's Bernardo meeting the sandwich. And a free kick for the Reds.
No, it's good positive play again from Bernardo. Two plays in front, screws his way through.
Yeah, it's Santolucia who makes the foul.
Yeah, legs everywhere.
Protests.
Yeah. But again, it's the positive play for Bernardo that actually creates the foul. They have to foul him, or otherwise he's into the box. I find this Toure on the ball. He's a big, strong lad. He's going to have a strike from here.
I was about to say, unless he's going to have a crack.
I thought it might have been a little bit too wide for a crack, but otherwise you'd expect him to be central.
Yeah, he does try and place it in that bottom corner. But Chudi had all the angles covered. In fact, did take a nick off a Floreat defender, so it's going to be a corner.
A little bit of deception there. Just tried to pass it around the wall into the bottom corner, trying to catch Chudi asleep. Had it covered.
Corner for the Reds. Bernardo to take. You can see how strong that wind is by the corner flag fluttering in the breeze in towards the near post. Did that come off the defender or the goalkeeper, whichever one it was. It's another corner.
It was a nice ball into dangerous area, just inside that 6-yard box. Keeper got just enough on it. But that's where you want that ball to be fizzed in, just above head height, around the 6-yard line. Ask your attackers to really run and strive at that ball.
See if he goes for the same sort of delivery. No, it's completely different. Change of angle via Dorigo. Bernardo going to fire it in himself. And it required the intervention of Chudi. Nice and positive from Bernardo, given his chance today by Carl Weert.
It's not a bad option. Get him 1v1 on the ball, or on the edge of the box. Let him run at the players. And he can show us what he does there.
More conventional delivery from Bernardo. Underneath it was Timotheo. Moture looking to spin. Halloran, just too many bodies in the way. Oh, now Javi Lopez caught momentarily, but a slip by Boy closes that particular avenue for Floreat Athena.
Quite lucky there, Adelaide. 3 or 4 Floreat Athena players on the break, and the slip really just broke it down. Could have been a very dangerous moment.
Might have been a foul that by Santa Lucia. Adam feeling well positioned. Saldaris. Right idea. Timoteo's intervention, preventing the ball getting through to Harding.
Yeah, McManus was a good little header there. Just looking for the run of Harding off his shoulder.
Saldaris, final touch off him, which brings to an end that little glimpse of an attack for the NPLWA side. Here come the Reds at the other end.
It was a marauding run from Javier Lopez down that right side.
Yeah, getting beyond Bernardo, who I have to say I've been really impressed with in these opening 38 minutes.
Yeah, definitely agree. Very positive, technical player, looking to create things, getting shots off. And they're the kind of players you love to see coming through.
Here's that corner again towards that near post. Met on the full by George Fester. Back comes Bernardo. Little layoff by Moture, couldn't quite find Halloran. The ball's still alive, or is it? No. And Bernardo's got a whack to the face, which forces him to ground, and
I think he might have just
Floreat Athena fans think he's making a bit too much of this.
I think he might have got stood on accidentally there, yeah. Just as Santa Lucia stepped back, just in the challenge, he right on the buttock, it looked like, which wouldn't tickle.
Literally came back to bite him on the bum.
Obviously no intention, no malice. And all just get on with it.
Bernardo and Cassio, the first father-son combination to play senior level for Adelaide United. There was a previous combo, Dominic and Ange Costanzo, but Dominic didn't make it into the senior ranks, at least for a competitive game. We might have another one later on with Ethan Alagic on the bench, son of Richie, similar vintage to Cassio. Good to see that tradition.
Plenty of hours with the kids in the backyard, I'm sure. Dad's probably loving it just as much as the kids.
Free kick for Floreat. Again, that should be the goalkeepers. Oh, he got a bit fortunate there and was looking for the foul. It's a bit of back chat from, I think, Chris Saldaris.
Yeah, I think he just thought he'd won the header and actually thought Delianov had thrown it out himself of his hand, but referee adjudged it came off his head. But again, it's just a little too close to Delianov, a little bit too much flight in those balls. Always makes the goalkeeper the favourite to win it.
Into the last 5 minutes of an intriguing first half, really. Adelaide scored that opening goal through Louis Dorigo, and they were so comfortable. Oh, they're not comfortable here, though. Jacob Tratt is fortunate that Ludovic Boy stumbled after he hit the ball into him. And there have been one or two nervy moments for the Reds.
There has. And like we said, that rustiness, we haven't played together a while. The wind's out there, a little bit bobbly on the pitch in patches. All that can come together. Just, you don't really have your groove, and little mistakes. It just gives the opposition that little bit of hope or a chance here and there that just keeps the belief going.
Square by Isaias for Ryan Kitto. And Toure just peeling away from the two central defenders to find that pocket of space, but he couldn't angle it out towards Bernardo, which was the intention. Oh, then an arm across the face of Isaias. Referee will allow the game to go on for now. Here's Kitto. And that's the goalkeepers. As we said before, Daniel McBrien's a bit going on out there.
Yeah, a little bit of spice in the game. That one's been let go, but looked a little bit dangerous in my eyes on first viewing. But everyone's got on with the game. Just add that little bit of spice. It's that yellow card for Timotheo.
Well, the question is, should it have been a red?
Well, the one person whose job it is to make that decision said no. We can sit here and talk about it all day, but I'm sure if you asked either camp, they'll give you different answers.
Gallen has caught Mo Toure on the way down. Latest little flashpoint. Again, the ball just holding up and Gallen clattering into Toure.
I don't think there was too much in that one, but these Adelaide players will definitely know they've been in a match after this.
Cavallo's throw. That clearly came off the arm of Mohamed Toure. Pressure relieved for now on Vas Vujacic's side. Will he be happy at half-time, assuming they go in with this scoreline, Daniel?
I think so. I think probably won't be as happy with the final delivery, set pieces. There had a couple of opportunities to get some decent ball into the box. But Harding's looked lively going forward. McManus on the ball. Defensively, they have been relatively solid. It's just that one glaring defensive lapse for the goal. That's unorthodox.
Getting very fortunate. Off McManus, the cross floated in the hope of finding Mo Toure. No trouble in the end for Chudi.
You can see again from the cross, just caught in the wind, carries that ball a little further than expected.
Bit of a frustrating afternoon so far for Mo Toure. Did have that early chance. The header that was a routine save, really, for Thomas Chudi. Is that you with the cat impressions, Daniel?
I'm afraid not, Simon. No, he's worked hard, Toure, as is this man, Harding. He's called all kinds of pressure down this side. Wins himself a corner, yep.
Young finance student, just 20 years of age, Robert Harding, as we move into the first of 2 minutes of stoppage time. So a big chance this for Floreat Athena. Andrew Palmer to deliver. Was met well at the back post. But a foul gives Reds the respite.
Yeah, just a little shove on Delian off as he went to claim the ball. But I think, as you said, Simon, the coach at half-time, Vujacic will be probably a little bit underwhelmed with the final delivery on these set pieces. There's been some good endeavour from Harding. McManus has been good on the ball. As I said, defensively, they've been relatively solid. It's just that final pass, that final delivery, the quality on the crosses that has let them down.
And considering they copped 5 in 23 minutes in the grand final at the weekend, they should be relatively happy to keep Carl Weert's team to 1 in the first 45.
Yeah, I think if you look at the team's performance throughout the season, that was an anomaly. It was one of those days where whenever something can go wrong, it did go wrong, and I think Perth had 5 shots and 5 goals. So I don't think we can take their grand final as a benchmark of their normal performances.
Here's Dorigo, looking to drill it low and hard, away by Festa. They did lose a clutch of players mid-season as well, Floreat Athena, so their second half of the NPL campaign not quite as consistent as the first. 3 players who actually went over to sign for clubs in Europe, lower leagues. That's a handy ball by Torre, less so by Bernardo. And McManus's pace could cause a problem, but Albi Lopez sorted out. And that is the final action of an interesting first 45. Adelaide comfortable early on. They got their reward thanks to Louis Dorigo, who planted his header into the corner of the net following Josh Cavallo's centre. But since then, Floreat Athena have fought back, and there was a big question as to whether George Timoteo should have been sent off after he brought down Robert Harding on the edge of the penalty area. Adam Fielding said no, just a yellow. And that's perhaps one of the reasons why at the break, it's the A-League side with the advantage. Floreat Athena 0, Adelaide United 1 at half-time. And we'll be back after this short break. And the players good to go at Litis Stadium for the second half. Adelaide United, the A-League club, leading Floreat Athena by a goal to nil. Louis Dorigo, the scorer, on 18 minutes at the home of this historic club. 70 years old in 2021, and a club, Daniel McBreen, that brought through the likes of Stan Lazaridis, Bobby Despotovsky, Vas Kalogerakis.
It's not a bad crew. That I was looking at that myself and wondering, wow, it's a nice call of players to be able to say that have been through your club.
And they've given a good account of themselves first 45 and caused one or two problems. And of course in the second half, Daniel, they're playing with the wind as well, which might help them.
Yeah, look, I think in the first half, Harding down the right-hand side caused us a lot of problems getting in behind Timotheo. And we'll probably look to do the same. Use that wind, use his pace to get in behind, cause troubles. We saw in the first half, got in behind, and that call from the referee, maybe red or yellow, he called yellow.
Here's Mo Toure trying to skip his way through, and a little nibble at the ankles from the defender, but Adam Fielding again well positioned and waves those appeals away, but they've got to be careful with those challenges inside the penalty area. Floreat Athena, easier said than done, of course, when you've got a player of the ability of Mo Toure. He's trying to trip the light, fantastic, through your back line.
Yeah, and the last thing, Floreat Athena, I know it sounds silly, but to concede early now would really kill the game off. The longer this game goes at 1-0, the more they'll think that they have a chance. When they have players like McManus and Harding who can go forward, and Festa and Gallen at the back have controlled Toure quite well.
A chance that sat up rather nicely on the half volley, I think, for Andrew Palmer.
You don't mind that. Wind at his back, ball drops to you at the edge of the box. Have a swing.
Slight miscue by one of the Adelaide defenders, which has been a feature of today's play, in part due to the pitch. Oh dear, a mistake by Delianov. Real chance here for Floreat Athena, and Nick Ambrosio wasn't able to convert. They'll get a corner, but the goalkeeper got into all sorts of bother there.
Well, Floreat Athena came out second half, wind at their back as they take the corner now.
Whipped in by Ludovic Boy, and again it's a test. Again, that wind is going to cause an issue for Delianov, but he's managed to claim that one. And I think he'll be relieved.
Yeah, I think it's a calculated move from Floreat Athena to say that we've got the wind at our back, let's press high, and caught Adelaide unawares, and they probably weren't expecting it. Gave the ball away in a really dangerous position.
Well, there might have been a little bit of shirt holding there by Festa. Similar situation to in the first half with Timoteo and Harding, so it should be the same results. And to be fair to the ref, it is. It's a booking for Festa, so at least he's consistent.
Yeah, he's consistent, because that was almost the exact same part of the pitch. Exact similar outcomes as well, in the fact that Toure looked to be away, and the pulling of the shirt just gave the keeper enough time to get out to the ball. We see one opportunity for Floreat Athena at the other end, and then Adelaide straight away come back down the other end.
Floreat Athena rather wasted their free kick in the first half from a similar situation. Let's see if Ben Halloran's about to do a bit better. Wall of 4 for Thomas Chudi. This could be a key moment in this cup tie. Second goal, you fancy might kill it off for the Reds. And Ben Halloran more than capable. Wants to respot the ball as a little gust of wind just blew it away. Now we're set. And Ben Halloran does exactly the same thing, straight into the wall, and then the follow-up shot was beaten away by Thomas Chudi. Isaias, I think it was, from the edge of the penalty area. The goalkeeper did well, because that probably came through a crowd of players too.
Yeah, it looked like he saw it late. A little bit of a bobble in front of him as well. It's always hard for a keeper.
Here's Lopez. Lost his footing and conceded the throw. Santa Lucia's long launch off the head of Tratt. Here's Palmer. Ball's like a bar of soap at the moment, isn't it? Just spinning this way and that and bobbling off the pitch. Good strength by Ambrosio. And Palmer, all he could do really was just prevent the goal kick. Meantime, Javi Lopez has picked up a smack to the mouth.
Yeah, just a palm to the face. I don't think there was anything too malicious in it, just trying to get the body across. Ambrosio with the arm out. You see now Floreat Athena in this second half, really pressing high, trying to utilise that wind, force Adelaide into playing maybe a longer ball.
It's a good tactic. They've already forced one error. So gave Nick Ambrosio the chance, which unfortunately for Floreat Athena he couldn't take. All the way back for Thomas Chudi. Getting off again, just a little bit uncertain. Now he's got to come for this one, and that's an awful lot better.
Much better with the hands than the feet today. A couple of errant passes now.
Possession stats still the same, but you'd expect that. The A-League club having the weight of possession. Floreat Athena still very much in this.
You can hear the instructions, step, step, step.
Thought he was shouting Stan. Thought he was calling Lazaridis off out of the stand. I'd love to have a player of his ability in his pomp at their disposal.
Well, that's 3 times now that they've pressed the Adelaide defence and 3 times they've won the ball.
Adelaide just not quite in their groove. Isai is across, showing all his experience there. Pass didn't match it, unfortunately, for the Reds. And Floreat feeling that might have been a foul by the Spaniard.
Yeah, Palmer went down quite easily. Referee was having none of it.
Lopez. Again, just got a bobble at the key moment. Gets a throw. More of a midfielder, really, isn't he, Javi Lopez? At least for most of his career. But, can also play in the fullback position, which is where he's been asked to play today. Here's Jacob Tratt, signing in the off-season. Previous A-League experience with Perth Glory, of course, and Wellington Phoenix and Sydney FC. Toure getting the better of Fester, who's tried to stick close to him all afternoon. Threaded through for Kitto, strong challenge, and it's flashed wide of that right hand upright by Dorigo.
It's good work again by Toure down that left-hand side. Strong, holding the ball up. Gets the defender on the back foot. Allowed him to just play a nice little pass inside. As that full ball fell to Dorigo. Just couldn't find the target. Looking to double his tally for the day.
Well, this is the 61st meeting all told between NPL outfits and A-League clubs. We've had just 8 cup sets in the history of the competition. Adelaide City, Redlands United, Heidelberg, Blacktown, Bentley Greens, Green Gully, Apia Leichhardt and the Brisbane Strikers. And a chance here, they've equalised! Chris Saldaris with the left-footed precision shot into the corner, past the flailing arm of James Delianoff. And they are back on level terms. And it's thanks to their top goal scorer this season. What a hit.
And didn't he take it well? Coming from the right back position, comes, takes the ball with his right foot, sells the that he was going to shoot, brings it inside onto his left, has a little glance up and then pokes it and drives it right into that bottom corner. Delianoff, nothing he can do with it. And the celebrations to match, a wonderful finish. Saldaris with the equaliser.
Well, 10 goals in the NPLWA domestic season. No wonder he's got a big smile on his face. And it's so rare to have a right fullback who's your top goal scorer, but that's the truth of the matter. And that was a really clean strike.
A wonderful strike. Inside onto his left foot as well. We saw him get forward in the first half and challenge Delianov on a cross. But we see he likes the ball at his feet. A wonderful strike. And we said as long as this game stayed at 1-0, Floreat Athena would feel they were in this with a chance. And now, 1-1, they'll be really all over it.
He works in pest control during the day with his family, Chris Saldaris. He's become a killer of the crow eaters today, if you like. That's a long bow, but I had to go for it.
He's a pest for Adelaide United.
He sure is. And what a moment for him and for Floreat Athena. Just as I was running through that list, Macca, of all those teams that have caused cup upsets down the years, maybe we've got another one on the cards here. Who knows?
Well, they're definitely capable, aren't they? It's been a little quiet from Adelaide in the second half.
Let's see how they respond. Here's Isaias. Turning it back for Trat. Lopez. Bernardo. Busy little player, the teenager, and he's found some space for Dorigo. Now Kitto. And it cannons away for a corner off the goal scorer, Chris Saldaris.
Bernardo again. Chief playmaker for Adelaide. Loves to drive with that ball. That goal is going to have to shock Adelaide into igniting something. I think this could be the man to do it.
It's going to be Bernardo's delivery. Low towards the near post. Not really the best. Slung back in by Cavallo. Off the crossbar by Motore, with the goalkeeper beaten. And they were that close, the Reds, to restoring their lead.
Well, a wonderful ball in, and Tore's been causing problems in that central area for those two central defenders all day. And this time, he actually got the better of them. And unlike the first half with his header, was a glancing header from a distance out. It was a wonderful opportunity. Beat Chudy to the ball. Smashed off the underside of the crossbar. Thought for sure he'd scored. But it's, again, a little warning as we see a lovely ball in. Gets really high, Torre. Got away from his markers. Just couldn't quite angle it down.
He's unlucky, isn't he? And it didn't drop for Jacob Tratt, who was just waiting for the rebound. Oh, what a cup tie we've got here now.
It's come to life.
Here's Gallen. Off the head of Lopez. And a handball by Dorigo. offers up another opportunity potentially for Floreat Athena.
Yeah, I love the way that Floreat Athena have approached this second half. They could easily sit back, try and soak up pressure, go on the counter-attack, but they've stepped forward, put pressure on Adelaide, forced turnovers, and it's changed the game for them. It's got them with the chance now.
Palmer's delivery. Delianov does well to prevent that from going behind. I wonder if the Reds are having flashbacks of Redlands United back in 2016. Famous day for the NPL Queensland club. Only 2 A-League clubs have been beaten twice in the Cup by NPL outfits. That's Wellington Phoenix and the Central Coast Mariners. And you wouldn't expect the Cup holders and the Cup specialists to be the third, but that's the beauty of this competition.
It's not a record that you want to have on your CV.
Of course, you can keep up to date with all the latest Cup news and when the fixtures are being played, etc. The FFAcup.com.au as Isaias treads on the ball. Next game to be played in this competition will be in the West. Joondalup against Adelaide Olympic. Another error by the Cup holders. Here's Palmer. They're growing in confidence, Floreat Athena. Oh, that's a dangerous challenge. And Dorigo's going to go into the book here for that. He went diving in on Ambrosio. He feels it's harsh, but it's another free kick just outside the Adelaide United penalty area.
We spoke first half about the quality of the set pieces for Floreat Athena. This is a wonderful opportunity. Central discussions now over the ball.
I think he did win the ball, Dorigo, but he was also very strong in the challenge, and that could be enough, of course, for the referee, and that was the verdict of Adam Fielding. Well, what a situation here for Floreat. Is it going to be Ludovic Boy or Philip Arnold? Four in the wall for the Reds. Nervous moment for the Cup holders. It is going to be Ludovic Boy, and he drags his shot wide of that left-hand upright.
He went with raw power there, tried to drive it into the top corner. It was in that kind of a position where it's hard to get it up and over the wall and back down again, particularly with the wind behind you. So went with the power option. Just leaning back a little bit. Forced the ball high and wide. But they really caused problems with this press, and they're doing it again here.
Yeah, and Adelaide did not look comfortable. Timoteo gets away with that one. Here's Toure, needs to hold it up. He does that beautifully, and he's got runners in front of him. Bernardo on the right, Halloran's there as well. Here is Ben Halloran, sliding challenge, Santa Lucia.
Well done.
Perfectly timed. And Halloran says, what, not even a corner?
No, that's fantastic defending from Santa Lucia. Bernardo, the pass just a little long, gave the opportunity. First thought the ball had come back off. Well,
might have had a case for a corner.
Yeah, he may have had a case, but I still think good defending. Again, Toure started that play, holding the ball up, bringing other players into play. A few opportunities now at both ends.
Off the heel of Ludovic Boy, and again, there's a touch of indecision in that Reds defence before Tratt sorts it out.
Yeah. Still a bit unsure. Communication not quite there as it should be. Just hope that Floreat Athena stick with this game plan of the high pressure to pay dividends in this second half.
Might be about to launch the long one through Santa Lucia. Oh dear.
Misjudged the wind on that one.
Well, this is what has made the FFA Cup arguably the favourite competition amongst football fans right throughout the levels of the game in Australia. It does have the potential to create a very interesting narrative, and that's what we got here.
He's been getting a couple of little altercations in these last few minutes, maybe frustration settling in a little bit. Tell him there, see him there telling someone you're talking too much. It shows confidence, I guess, from Floreat Athena that they can match it with the big boys. They're not taking a backward step.
Mentioned they had some big boys playing for them back in the day. That came off the arm. Likes of Lazaridis and Despotovsky, Kalogerakis. Well, also had a couple of big-name guest players back in the day in the 70s. Alan Ball, World Cup winner with England in 1966, and Ted McDougall. Older football fans might remember. Tratt's heavy touch needed to just clear his lines. It's more secure from Jacob Tratt.
He moves a lot.
It's a sloppy giveaway there.
McManus appeals for hands. Good advantage played by Fielding, the referee. Oh, another appeal for handball against Tratt, right on the edge of the box. And these are tough moments for Adelaide United.
They're not getting it all their own way. And as this game continues, you feel the Floreat Athena players growing in confidence, looking to get on the ball in more advanced positions. McManus in particular has looked more and more confident as the game's gone on.
No, it's not.
Any?
No.
Only one of them. Why haven't you put number 3 on James?
Santa Lucia looking for an option, which Boy provides. It's a lovely little ball for Sean McManus. Didn't quite wrap his boot around it, the Scot.
How do you feel about your number 1 son?
But they are growing in confidence by the minute.
Yeah, they are. And that was a lovely little ball and run. McManus just couldn't quite get the ball inside his defender, but looking to always get in behind, come and get on the ball, run players, get crosses in the box.
And of course, they're the team that's only just finished their domestic campaign, whereas Adelaide United don't begin theirs for the best part of another month. In fact, nearly 2 months, I should say. Slung out towards Bernardo. It was very impressive first half, less involved in the second. Always trodden on the ball, which is a touch unfortunate. It's not too friendly with George Fester either.
We've seen quite a lot of this niggle ever since that contentious decision on Timotheo. It really riled the Floreat Athena players up.
Floreat Athena weren't happy with that challenge on Dennis Gallen. Meantime, Bernardo still feeling the after effects of previous altercation. And by and large, he's been pretty good, the 17-year-old, on debut.
Yep, nice positive play, looks to get at his plays. Couple of shots, some crosses into the box. Positive signs for the future.
Just over 20 minutes to go in the West. And Floreat looking to use the win to their advantage with the long free kick. Off the head of Soldaris. This is Kitto. Toure. Onside. 4 waiting inside the penalty area. Might break here for Kitto. Floreat's had numbers. Eventually Gallen will scoop it clear. Kitto's picked up a knock as well. And my lip reading is anything to go by. He's just given Santa Lucia a bit of a spray.
Get to that stage now, Simon, where you're looking at the clock, starting to think, will there be substitutions?
Adelaide have got good attacking options. Al Hassan Toure and George Blackwood to name but 2.
Sure, Carl Viet is thinking maybe it's time for some fresh bloods injected into the frame. It's just gone a little quiet, a little stale.
Here is Vas Vujicic with the baseball cap. Just behind the man of the moment for Floreat, Chris Soldaris.
Look quite happy.
Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Wait, are they leaving?
We're going to see a long throw here, Simon.
I think we might be about to, yeah.
I know you like them.
Philip Arnold. Sizing it up. He does go for the Rory Delat tight delivery. And it was helped on by Soldaris. The shot is blocked. George Fester it was who had the effort. Adelaide scramble it clear.
It's another chance. Adelaide really not having it their own way. As that ball dropped. Fester had a swing, just couldn't quite get a hold of it.
All hands on deck for the Reds. Santa Lucia's throw. And Santa Lucia again into the box. Oh, he just didn't quite catch that, did he, Ludovic Boy? Another chance. On the other end, it's Toure, who's had Adelaide's best effort of the second half. Thumping header that came back off the frame of the goal. Here is Toure again, and a hand used. Oh, he might be in trouble for kicking the ball away there as well, Mo Toure. Symptomatic of their frustrations at the moment.
Yeah, definitely frustrating afternoon so far.
Now, first change for the Reds. George Blackwood is with us. His second debut for the club after spending last year on loan with, sorry, not on loan, with Oldham Athletic in the UK. And we're also going to see Yaya Dukuli in place of Bernardo. So Carl Viet ringing the changes. Needs some fresh legs, let's be honest. Daniel McBreen needs some fresh impetus.
Yeah, I think he'd seen enough. It was going a bit flat. Opportunities becoming few and far between, really, for Adelaide, and not really controlling the game.
McManus. Harding just not quite able to stretch far enough to keep that move alive. Timoteo to go long. Dukuli was after it.
And a little bit of pressure again in that front third. Just forces Adelaide into a long ball. Not really building the play, not looking to dominate with the ball. It's just more of a hopeful ball forward. But now in this position, looking to move it around to try and get those new players on the ball.
Steered away by Gallen. Reset through Isaias Dukuli. All through the legs. Pass one, but not the second. George Fester says, not on my watch. But just signs of a little bit more of a spark. And that's what the substitutions have been designed to do for Carl Weert.
It was definitely needed, Simon. I think Floreat had really taken the sting out of Adelaide. Rose to the occasion with a wonderful goal, and the game since then has really been very even. A couple of opportunities, but Floreat would take a lot of confidence in the way that the game has panned out in this second half.
Into the final quarter of an hour. Here's Harding. Right idea for Boy. It's Javi Lopez who'll stride forward for the Reds. And they've got numbers here. Dorigo. And it goes for Dukuli. Step over. Good block by Saldares. Did his job not once, but twice.
Oh, that's great defending. Had an impact at one end, doing a great job at the other. Nice trickery from Dukuli, but not enough.
He has provided the Reds with a bit of pep, and it's earned this corner. Dorigo into the near post. Steered away again by Dennis Gallen. Manus trying to hold it up. Neatly done by the Reds. Isaias, that's where it breaks down. Again, the high press paying dividends for Floreat Athena. Here's McManus on the right. Numbers arriving in the box. It's not the cross they wanted.
No, 3 or 4 bodies got forward after winning the ball. Just overhit again the cross. When you have that high press and then the ball gets lost, this is what can happen.
Yeah, in transition they could get caught. It's Dukuli beaten away. A good distance on that punch as well by Thomas Judy. So finally poised, isn't it? Heading towards the final 10 minutes. It may well be that we'll need extra time.
I'm sure both sets of players will be wanting a winner. Go and get that winner.
Dorigo out for Dukuli. He's been involved a lot since coming off the bench, off the thigh of Fester, and thankfully for him, into the gloves of his goalkeeper, Thomas Chudi.
Every attack since Dukuli has come on has gone through him. It's positive. Another young player that looks to run at players, balls into the box.
Yet another one from the African diaspora, Maka.
Yeah.
So many coming out of those communities. Real talents. I think it's Marco Santalucia who's got a touch of cramp.
We just talked about the prospect of extra time. And this is where it starts to hurt.
Especially when it's not your day job.
We see a sloppy ball again. You know, the diagonal from Adelaide United.
Isaias dropping deep to start the play. Tratz. Turned by Blackwoods. Didn't have enough purchase on it to get it towards Javi Lopez. Chested down by Lopez. Immediately has McManus on his tail, who then unceremoniously trips up Ben Halloran. And we're going to see a change here for Floreat Athena, and Santa Lucia will play no further part. And we're going to see the introduction of Ben Steele. He's also a fullback by trade, born in Bunbury. Came up to the Big Smoke of Perth last year to study accounting. And of course, being a Bunbury boy, Macca, his idol is none other than Josh Risdon, who came through the same part of the world and made it all the way through to the Socceroos. He's hoping to do the same thing.
It'll be interesting to see. I think he's telling another player to go out to that left side, and he's gone to the right.
Maybe to look after De Cooley. Yep, it's Chris Saldaris who's swapped over to the left. It's brief to keep watchful eye over Ben Halloran. He was a goal scorer in the last FFA Cup final. Seems a long time ago now. 2019. The Reds defeating Melbourne City by 4-0 in that final to retain the cup. Here's Ludovic Boy trying to float it, and he's done so beautifully towards McManus, who still might get a piece of it. Delianoff out to smother the ball, and it just wouldn't sit right for him.
No, it was a wonderful ball and a lovely run, but McManus just off balance as he chested the ball down, which took the ball away from him. And again, another sloppy pass from Adelaide, giving the ball away.
It's their captain, Ben Halloran, who's the guilty party.
It's just exactly what you don't need in this time of the game. You're giving confidence to a, on paper, lesser team. You're really inviting them to have the confidence to come at you.
Philip Arnold with the wry smile. I think he knew that maybe the contact from Motore wasn't the strongest, but he's managed to get the free kick. A hospitality entrepreneur he's described as. Apparently does a mean souvlaki on a Friday afternoon. Philip Arnold.
I'll have to get over and try it one time.
Good competition, that. Best suva around the country in the FFA Cup. Heidelberg will be up there.
There's quite a few up there.
Yeah. Too much on that from Timoteo.
Finding it difficult. You say he's trying to get on the ball, moving left and right, dropping in the centre, but just not getting on the ball. And when he does, it's generally in between the two centre-backs. You really want him to get on the ball in that midfield area. Such wonderful quality of the player. Floreat Athena, really frustrating Adelaide United.
An Adelaide United team that, just to remind you, has won 10 consecutive cup ties and have held the FFA Cup for nigh on 3 years. Performance that Floreat Athena can be very, very proud of, no matter what happens from here on in. Here's a test for Javi Lopez, with McManus nipping away at him, unfairly so in the end.
Didn't need to. didn't need to give the referee an option for a free kick. Had Lopez struggling. He was only going into the corner.
Well, he'll run all day. Sean McManus, fit as a fiddle, personal trainer by day. We have under 5 minutes of normal time remaining. Toure bowled over. Philip Arnold says, I got the ball.
Yeah. You may have a case. If you don't go to the ground, you don't give that referee that option though, do you? And now it's a dangerous opportunity for Adelaide United.
Jacob Tratt is waiting for Isaias's delivery. Good clearing header though by Festa. Now they'll look to break. Harding couldn't make it stick though. And to be fair to Carl Viet's team, they have been better since the changes. A little bit more control.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit more composure as well.
Halloran gliding through 3 players. Here's a chance, George Blackwood. And it's desperate last-ditch defending by Festa again that saves the day for Floreat Athena. And now McManus, if he can get goal side of Tratt. They could have been away. McManus stays down. Ludovic Boy to give chase, but he looks a bit tired, doesn't he, the Floreat Athena captain? Or does he?
He's done well.
Initially looked to be almost running backwards and then retrieve the ball. Cavallo. Over the head of Toure. Drops here for Blackwood, who's going to have a dig.
And if you're the Floreat Athena goalkeeper there, you're happy with strikes from that range.
"14 appearances and 3 goals for Oldham Athletic last season. The English lower leagues fell out of favour once Harry Kewell was sacked from the manager's job.
Not too bad of a return when you're acclimatising to a new club, different country.
He also had an injury to contend with as well. McManus is offside. Now back for a second go with the Reds. Launched by Timoteu. Halloran well marshalled by Saldaris. An interesting question, Macca. If it goes to extra time, who does that favour? The full-time pros who are out of season, or the part-time players who are on the back of a full campaign?
I think neither team would like it, to be honest. In different ways. I guess when you're an A-League team and you haven't quite got into your season yet, you haven't got those minutes in the legs, the training is shorter. You know, it's going to have an effect on you. But also, as a part-time footballer.
See how this develops. Ben Steele with the centre. Oh, and there had to be a readjustment there from Jacob Tratt. And that ricochet really could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for the Reds, it goes behind.
Well, they keep pushing, don't they? They keep causing problems.
Change for Floreat Athena. Robert Harding is going to be withdrawn. And we're going to see the introduction of Ethan Mom, who's a player from their under-20s team, a student. Who did start in the grand final against Perth Soccer Club, which they lost 6-3 at the weekend.
And I think maybe, Simon, we speak about who does this affect more and who will find it difficult, as we see offside.
Ambrosio
I
coming
think
back.
the emotion of that grand final can also have an effect. You know, part-time players coming into a grand final and 23 minutes down being 5-0. You know, I think that can really rattle you, and the emotion of that and having to fight back from that to try and make the score respectable. I think that can have a huge effect as well.
Here's Isaias curling it out. Nice shape to it for Dukuli, who'll return it back into the danger zone. I just took a touch on the way through, which took it away from Halloran, who is now upset that his team haven't got the throw. Or have they? Referees overruled this linesman.
It was actually a wonderful ball from Dukuli, right across that 6-yard, and no one was anticipating. He's added a bit of a spark since coming on. Looked dangerous down that left.
Well, the holders leaving it late if they're going to get a winner here. We're into the first of 4 additional minutes at the end of the 90. And that header from Moture aside. Haven't really worried Thomas Chudi too much in the second half. Timoteu finds the space for Isaias. Angled out towards Cavallo. Trying to create the angle, which he does. Blackwood was just waiting for it to drop, wasn't he? Late flurry here from the Reds. Back by Halloran. Lopez out for Blackwood. Lopez had continued his run and across towards that back post where Dukuli was climbing.
Steele did just enough to put him off there, didn't he, Simon? Just used his body well. It was a lovely flighted cross. Just bending in at that back stick. Chudi in no hurry.
Just a couple of minutes separating us from extra time at Lita Stadium. Thump forward. Could be a suggestion of offside here against Ambrosio. Flag didn't go up, didn't need to because Trapp made the intervention. Here's Cavallo. Comes to nothing.
It's just a little bit flat. It's as though both teams have resigned themselves to the fact that they're going to go to extra time. And of course, Chudi again not in too much hurry to get going. It's going to take the teams, going to need to find something. Adelaide United in particular, if we do make it to extra time, some kind of a spark. Dukuli's been good since he's come on. It's just been a little bit flat this second half.
That's why, on balance, Floreat Athena fully deserve to be going into extra time if that's the way it finishes. We're not that far off that conclusion. Maybe time for one last attack from the Reds. Timoteu. Steered back by Cavallo. Reds not looking in any particular hurry. And the high boots from Cavallo brings that particular movement to an end and also the game to an end. And what a performance by Floreat Athena. They fell behind early to Louis Dorigo's header, but after the break they really came out and tried to force the issue, and they got their reward thanks to their top goal scorer this season, Chris Saldaris, on 56 minutes. And we're going to go to extra time at Lita Stadium. Full time, Floreat Athena 1, Adelaide United 1. Well, Daniel McBreen, your thoughts? I think they've fully earned that extra period of 30 minutes. Don't know if you agree.
No, I do, Simon. Second half, fantastic display. came out, really put it to Adelaide, pressed them high, forced errors, got forward when they could. And these are the kind of opportunities that you don't mind strikers having a crack at. It drops to you outside the box, you put the opposition under pressure, then you go for it. And we saw this time and time again, and that's an awful pass from Dillianov, but he just does enough. Apologises straight away. But that was a recurring theme in the first 15 minutes.
At the other end, Adelaide's efforts were few and far between. That was from Ben Halloran's free kick. Isaiah's firing in the rebound, which Thomas Chudi did well to save. Mo Toure, of course, was an ever-present threat.
Yeah, he was. Very physical, very strong. And you see he loves to get his defenders square on. Lovely ball inside, and Dorigo just firing wide. Using his strength well.
Floreat continued to provide a threat at the other end, and this was a very sweetly struck shot from Chris Saldaris that brought the house down at Lita Stadium.
Yeah, it was a wonderful strike. Sold the dummy and brought it back on his right. Maybe got a little bit lucky with the bounce as it went past the keeper, but nothing more than Floreat Athena deserved, and their top goal scorer. Love that moment. Celebrations to match.
And on balance, they deserved that equaliser. They had some scary moments in the minutes following that, particularly this effort from Mo Toure, who got there ahead of goalkeeper Chudi and saw his effort thump back off the frame.
Yeah, and it's Cavallo with the ball again. Lovely whipped ball in. And it hasn't happened too often in this game, but Toure lost his defenders and thought he'd scored. Underside of the bar and down.
Set pieces, you have to say, from both teams haven't necessarily been of the highest quality today, Macca.
No, I think the weather conditions, quite windy, have made that quite difficult. As we see the strike there, going for power, as we spoke, the distance there, it's hard to get it up and down, particularly with the wind, so you really have to use the power. But as you can see from the highlights, Athena really holding their own in this game. And there's Harding again with a nice one-touch layoff. The presence to see, the support play.
Now, Adelaide did change things around late on. In particular, the introduction of Yaya Dukula gave them a bit of a different dimension.
Yeah. Good left footer. Very tricky on the ball, looking to get the ball outside his defender and whip those balls in, and on a number of occasions managed to do so, causing some, or asking questions of the defence.
However, Floreat Athena stood firm. Now the big question, and we've asked it already, Macca, who has the legs to get through the extra 30 minutes? Is it the A-League team out of season, still building towards the start of the A-League in November? Or is it the semi-pro team who've just played a full campaign of NPL?
Yeah, I think the semi-pro team will probably find it a little bit more difficult. You know, the second half, particularly the first 25 minutes, they pressed really high, and that becomes tiring. You know, even when you have success, it takes a lot of energy out of your team. And when you start to get tired and you start to press, if you keep the press high, all it takes is for one player not to be able to maintain that pressure and just be a little off, and that's when you can start to get picked off, particularly by an A-League team. So they'll have to manage that. Do they continue with that, or do they start to sit in, as we saw probably a little bit in the last 10 minutes of the game, where they sit back and say, okay, try and break us down now?
Adam Fielding, the referee, who was at the centre of the big talking point in the first half, might have been also different had he sent off George Timoteu, as, to be fair, you and I think he possibly should have. Well, that seems an awful long time ago now, and as it is, we are set for extra time. 2 periods of 15 minutes each to try and find a winner. And if we can't do so after that, then we will go to penalty kicks to decide it. So it's Mo Toure who gets the ball back rolling again for the Reds. And they will hope their professionalism wins out in the end, but they found it really tough going. Hampered, you must say as well, by difficult conditions, windy, bumpy pitch. But even so, 9 times out of 10, the pro club wins. Now there's a collision on the edge of the box. In fact, it's inside the box. And the referee has pointed to the penalty spot for the foul on Ben Halloran right at the start of the first period of extra time. Halloran trying to ghost through, and yeah, it looks pretty clear-cut, Daniel McBreen.
Yeah, it was positive play from Halloran. We spoke about someone needing to show some spark, and he drove into the box, just dragged the ball past his defender, who couldn't get out the way. I think a deserved penalty.
Virtually from the first attack in the first period of extra time, Ben Halloran wins the penalty. Now can George Blackwood convert it? He can. Into the top corner, goalkeeper the wrong way, and George Blackwood is on the mark on his second debut for the Reds, and the A-League club lead for the second time in this cup tie.
Yeah, disastrous start for the extra time for Floreat Athena, but George Blackwood, wonderful finish there. No stopping that into the top corner. And Adelaide with the ascendancy again.
His good record of scoring in the FFA Cup continues. It's now 5 goals in 9 games in this competition. And that's a hammer blow for Floreat Athena.
Yeah, it is. It is. But we've seen them come from behind before, and they've created enough opportunities that know that they could score against Adelaide again. I'd like to see how Adelaide will approach this now. Do they sort of lock shop and take their time, take their foot off the pedal, or do they really go for the jugular and go for another goal?
Dukuli being tracked by Steele and Mom. Of course, Carl Viet could look at it another way and say, well, look, this is good. We're getting extra match practice ahead of the A-League season, an extra 30 minutes that we didn't legislate for. With the caveat, of course, that he's got to win through. He knows that. Bas Vujicic complaining about the decision against his team. It's a good spin by Lopez. Blackwood. Seen out despite the attentions of Halloran, who's sort of drifted in and out of this game, but that, I guess, is the difference in quality, Macca, that Ben Halloran, a full Socceroo, been to a World Cup, just that little turn of speed with a good touch, and defender mistimes the challenge, boom, penalty.
Yeah, exactly right, Simon. It's one moment can change it. And it's really taking that moment when it comes as well. You know, we see quite often your part-time teams will create opportunities, but maybe not have the quality to finish it off. And that's why there's a difference.
Cavallo venturing in field. Here's Yaya Dukuli. Nice feet by the substitute, Blackwood. Tratt. Again, the ball bounces very high, and surely a handball by Halloran, which Adam Fielding didn't miss.
It was McManus again, tirelessly working in there, causing the problems. So he just gets his body in there, causes some problems. He's not going to die wondering.
Lopez trying to get the better of McManus. Real tussle for the ball. Actually, it breaks for Dennis Gallen. Nodded out by Tratt. Javi Lopez sucking in the big ones, 35 years of age. Former player in La Liga for Espanyol and Real Betis. He's got to be on red alert for another one of these long throws. It's going to be a corner for Floreat Athena.
Well, they consistently came back at Adelaide United. They just need the delivery here. Has been a problem.
Substitution number 10, Nicholas Ambrosio. Replaced by number 6,
second change for Floreat Athena, Nick Ambrosio, to be replaced by Jesse Fuller. He's just recently become a father, 30 years of age, another personal trainer, runs his own business. Here's Andrew Palmer's corner, which had plenty of air, nodded back by Ludovic Boy. Steele told to leave it by his teammate Gallen. Palmer tussling for it along with Isaias. And the upshot is an Adelaide United throw. And a bit of discomfort for the veteran Spaniard.
doesn't look too pleased with that. He's just thinking,
No, senor, no.
definitely not what I needed right now.
It's a good turn by Toure. Oh, dearie me. That's a card if ever I saw one.
Yeah.
From Dennis Gallen. He knew he was done for.
Yeah, Toure, good turn and played the ball in behind. Not much he could do there except get the body in the way.
Toure thoroughly unimpressed.
With good reason. He's worked hard today. He hasn't had too much joy. He's had the odd occasion. But both Gallen and Fester have done a really good job on him. Marshalled him away from goal on most occasions.
Little smile from Carl Veert towards Mo Toure. As a former striker himself, he's picked up plenty of those knocks during his career. A little bit of something extra from Ben Haller, improving the difference between the teams as well at the moment, as well as a very well taken penalty, it must be said, by George Blackwood. He's on the ball here. Ooh. Tackles flying in, and now a bouncing ball that's awkward for Fester to deal with. He does pretty well.
Well, we've seen a bit of niggle in this game, and it continues on into the the extra time, sorry. It's a moment like this that we saw Adelaide score their first goal, a clearance out to the sideline.
Steered back by Dorigo. So he is having to hurry, and in doing so, he's given the ball away. The idea by Philip Arnold was right, but so difficult to execute in these sorts of windy conditions, that switch of play.
Also with 100 minutes under your legs as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does become a little difficult to find that energy to get forward, especially when you know I might have to turn around and run back.
Yep, legs will be heavy, but spirit's still willing, and there could be a chance here for Floreat Athena, and it flashes wide of that right hand upright. Chris Saldaris down injured in the process. What a chance. It was determined play by Saldaris in the first place.
It was, and a lovely ball inside. Just caught a little knock as he played the ball. I believe it was Arnold. Turned inside onto the right foot and looked like he was shaping to bend into the far corner, but good defending again.
Andrew Palmer with the corner. And at the back post was Ethan Mom, but Couldn't deflect the ball where he wanted it to go.
Just been overhit each of these set pieces.
Reminder of all the FFA Cup news and the fixtures. News on the draw when it comes for the round of 16. It'll all be on the official website of the competition, the ffacup.com.au. Here's Dukuli. Toure called for it and got it. He could finish it. Still going. Goalkeeper got a piece of it. And Dukuli eventually steers it through a sea of legs and potentially finishes this cup tie off. The double backflip as well. Brilliant celebrations. And Adelaide are almost home and hosed at 3-1.
Well, they almost made a hash of that one. Toure. It was Dukuli with a lovely touch. Plays in Toure. Just took a little too many touches here. Looked like he'd lost the opportunity. The ball came back out. Dukuli coolly strokes it into the net.
Well, it was like a hot potato in there, wasn't it? And it was just a matter of who was going to get that crucial touch. And it was Yaya Dukuli. And hey, the gymnastics weren't bad either.
I'd be worried about hurting myself on that one. But he's looked good since he's come onto the park. He's been creative. He started that move, nice little touch and ball to Toure, and as it fell back to him.
And Mohamed Toure's involvement with the celebrations, his final contribution, and his brother Al Hassan Toure replaces him.
Maybe his acrobatics weren't good enough. Hey, straight off.
Only got a 4.5. Dukuli got a 5.6 or whatever it was. Anyway, Al Hassan Toure's with us. Player who, of course, really made his name in the FFA Cup a couple of years back. And has Floreat Athena's resistance finally been seen off by the cup holders? Certainly looks that way.
Yeah, they put in a great performance, though. They can be proud of. Gave Adelaide a few scares along the way. But they'll still think 17 minutes, if we can get one before half-time in extra time, there's a chance.
Throw. Sorry, Daniel. Aimed for Soldaris. Ethan Mom will give chase, but it looks a forlorn task. The FFA Cup, always the appetizer, of course, for big domestic season ahead. A-League to start on 10, 19th of November. W-League, early December. Before that, we got Socceroos World Cup qualifiers and the Matildas. Doubleheader against Brazil, 23rd of October and the 26th of October as well. So lots of exciting football to look forward to over the next couple of months.
Definitely, Simon. It feels a long time between drinks, especially with local football being closed down all over Australia. It's been a really difficult 2 years, and to see all this football coming back is fantastic.
You'll be involved in that as well, of course, with the Newcastle Jets.
Yeah, with the youth team.
Finding the next generation, the next Mo Toure, Yaya Dukuli.
Yeah, we've got a few kids in our academy.
Here's Blackwoods. Could be another one here. Again, it wouldn't sit for Halloran. Surely handball against Al Hassan Toure. Good awareness from Javi Lopez. Into stoppage time at the end of the first period of extra time. Dorigo. Jacob Trapp with the long chase, just what you don't want in the 106th minute.
There will be a minimum of 1 minute added time on the first half as retirement. 1 minute.
This is where it becomes difficult for Floreat Athena to continue to press. Adelaide want to keep that ball, but again, another mistake.
Not just allow enough time for one opportunity before the break in extra time, but sadly that is not to be. And that is half-time in extra time. And what a first 15 minutes of the added period Adelaide United have had. 2 goals, the first virtually from the first attack in extra time. Ben Halloran brought down inside the area. George Blackwood making no mistake from the penalty spots. And then in the 102nd minute, Yaya Dukuli, the substitute after a bit of a goalmouth scramble, applying the finishing touch. And that's how it looks with a quarter of an hour to go. Floreat Athena 1, Adelaide United 3. And that little bit of extra quality Daniel McBreen has just started to tell in extra time.
Yeah, it has. It was Halloran who forced the issue by winning the penalty, knocked the ball in behind, and defender couldn't get out the way, brought him down, and wonderfully dispatched away by Blackwood. And really, that can take the wind out of the sails for the opposition, but they still came fighting. And as we saw, Arnold just get inside, tried to get the shot away, but a good defending again. They haven't given up, Floreat Athena.
Would you have preferred him to have gone across the keeper there, Philip
Yeah.
Arnold?
Yeah,
Here's the third goal.
yeah. Dukuli does well here, finds Torre, and it's just bobbling, can't quite get his shot off. And it's almost a comedy of errors before it falls back to Cooley, and he slots it away.
And the celebrations were something to behold as well. Acrobatic as well as football ability. Mo Touré's last contribution. There we go.
Yeah, I'd say Mo Torre, just a little cartwheel's not good enough. That's why he got
That's why he got
subbed.
dragged. Gosh. Another change for Floreat Athena.
Floreat Athena substitution.
Captain
Number
Ludovic
14,
Boy
Ludovic
has
Boy.
been replaced. And we're going to see Lat Matiang,
Number 3,
who's still just 16 years of age, another one from the African diaspora, who actually has a brother who plays for the South Sudanese national team and also in the Victorian MPL. It's featured for both Heidelberg and Brunswick City. So again, just to underline how much talent is coming through those communities. But they need to find a spark themselves now, Floreat.
I think we'll see Adelaide now be more content to move the ball around.
It's a tough one to control. Javi Lopez did it well enough. Having to strain every sinew to bring it under his spell. Here's Dorigo, who got the ball rolling for the Reds with that early goal. Dukuli on the left, but the flag is up.
Well, that's criminal. It's criminal as a wide player when you can see across the line. Coaches all around the world watching that.
Coach killers.
Oh.
You never got caught offside, did you, Mecca?
No, it's always poor officiating.
Lopez. Toure. Only finding Jesse Fuller in the first instance. Dorigo. Blackwood in the pocket. Has Dukuli outside him. It was a heavy first touch by Yaya Dukuli. Break here for Matiang, fresh off the bench. Trying to pick his way through. He's done really well to link up with Ethan Mom. Adelaide defence backpedaling. Here's Sean McManus. Chance to have a go. He's trying to steer it into that bottom corner. Had a good shape to it too before Jacob Tratz got his noggin in the way. And then a foul by McManus brings that momentum to a close.
No, a nice passage of play. A little bit fast feet at the start to get through a number of Adelaide players, but as they broke, McManus with a nice curling shot. Just gives away a silly foul at the end, but they keep on coming.
That's the trailing arm, catching Javi Lopez. Scott against the Spaniard. Maybe a clash of heads there between Steele and Halloran. Referee and the medicos will just make sure he's okay, Ben Halloran. Got to be careful with head knocks.
Yep. Just a classic old forehead on the back of the head. Never tickles.
Just to rework the old joke back in the day. I think it was a Liverpool player who went down injured and the medico came back and said to Bob Paisley he doesn't know who he is, and Bob Paisley said, tell him he's Pele. They do hurt those. Ben Steele, befitting his name, don't seem to be troubled by it.
It's a wasteful ball forward there. We had players, Floreat Athena had players on the left-hand side here. Played it forward.
Maybe they got a chance here. Matiang. Turned inside by Halloran, helped on further by Dorigo.
It's McManus again. Look at the work rate. He's been fantastic today for Floreat Athena.
Still full of energy to chase back and dispossess Al Hassan Toure. Arnold, helped on by Mom. Here's Ben Steele in an advanced position. And it required the gather from James Delianoff. You've got to give them huge credit, Floreat Athena. Have not just put the cue in the rack.
No, exactly. When you see there that Steele gets forward and crosses that ball, McManus is at the back stick again, waiting for the cross. It's great energy. 110 minutes into a game against an A-League opposition.
Ten minutes of the second period of extra time remaining. Adelaide look as though they're going to continue their proud cup record and make it 11 straight victories in this competition.
It's a remarkable record.
It's a record.
Well, and it's remarkable. They've done it the hard way today, though.
Yeah, they've been asked a few serious questions, haven't they, by Floreat Athena, who will head into their long off season with memories of taking an A-League club into extra time. Another change for Adelaide United. George Blackwood, who's only been on the pitch a matter of minutes himself, is going to be replaced by a debutant, Ethan Alagich, who, as we mentioned earlier, is the son of Richie Alagich, and that becomes the second father-son combo to have represented the Reds in their history. The first, Cassio and Bernardo. Today, good save by Delianov to deny the busy Sean McManus.
Yeah, he's never ending. He's like a Energizer bunny. Another great run in behind, unleashed the shot, and Delianov with a great save. But he just will not stop. He's constantly making runs in behind, looking to cause problems, driving his teammates. And the niggle won't stop either, Simon.
No, that's been going all game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the sign of a good cut tie that it's still going. And a goal here, and you never know. Flatter delivery. Jacob Tratt underneath it, though, for Adelaide United. Switch by Gallen. It's going to bounce away, though, from Jesse Fuller.
Difficult ball to play with the wind behind. Need to play more the angled ball. Players in central area. See the press again.
Here's a first touch in senior football for young Ethan Alagich, just 17 years of age. Nice story. He was actually with his dad, Richie, when he made his last appearance for the Reds in the Asian Champions League against the Pohang Steelers. He was just a kid then, and he walked out with his dad, and here he is, succeeding him all these years later, wearing the red of Adelaide United.
I'm sure there's no prouder person in the world at the moment than Richie.
Very proud football family,
Yeah.
aren't they? Not
Yeah.
just Richie either. Heavily involved in football in South Australia. The Cooley's Cross, too far in front of Al Hassan Toure. It was Di Alagich, of course, as well. Matilda. Richie Senior, very heavily involved in coaching.
It's a wonderful story. I see these players now coming through, you know, fathers who have played in the A-League start to get these stories of ongoing, tell their kids that are watching these games, you know, the history that goes with it. That's what makes our game so great.
Absolutely. And crucial for the long-term health that we pass it down the generations. Here's Josh Cavallo, who squares it up for Halloran. Wide right is Al Hassan Toure into the last 5 minutes at Litas Stadium. Halloran around one. Tired looking clearance. The Reds looking in the mood potentially to extend their advantage. Here's Ethan Alagich to square it up. Dorigo. Cavallo. Just going to stay alive for Halloran. And just passing the ball about at will at the moment. Before eventually an offside flag brings that movement to a close. I think we might have another substitution about to arrive here. That is confirmed. Philip Arnold to be replaced by Robert Ferrante, young striker who's been pretty prolific in the junior ranks for Floreat Athena. Scored 17 goals in 16 games for the under-18s back in 2020.
Well, they need a couple quick.
They do indeed. I'm sure that was the instruction from Vas Vujicic. What do you want me to do, boss? 2 goals, please.
Yeah. Starting to look very tired. Floreat Athena players. Adelaide striking the ball around.
Matt Yang losing out, but then winning the ball back. little bit scrappy in there. Halloran wants a foul, isn't going to get it. McManus.
It's all just a bit tight.
Ethan Alagic, nice little reverse ball with the outside of the boots for Al Hassan Toure, who's had his injury problems, of course. Struggled to get right throughout most of last season and fires over the top of the crossbar. And that is the signal for another change and another debut. Javi Lopez to be replaced by Arby Mollis, who's an 18-year-old midfielder, been a regular in the NPL for Adelaide United in South Australia this season, and this is good experience for these youngsters. Carl Viet wisely using them at the point of the game where the match is almost won.
Yeah, and it's great to see so many young players giving an opportunity. When we saw last year them given the opportunity, most of them excel. So it's great to see a number of them now being thrust into these matches.
Is there something still in this for Floreat Athena? Even if it's only a consolation, here's Ben Steele to drive it towards goal. Matty Yang was waiting to apply the finishing touch. Reminder of the next round of 32 cup tie. ECU Joondalup against Adelaide Olympic. You'll see that one on 10 play on the 29th of September. The cup competition, of course, split into zones to deal with the global pandemic in the early stages. It will go open post the round of 16. Adelaide United, safe to say their name will be in the hat when that draw is made. The final minutes of what's been a fascinating cup tie.
It has. They've done it the hard way, Adelaide. Floreat Athena really came out and have tested them on a number of occasions. Came out in the second half and really pressed Adelaide, put them under pressure, and paid dividends with Saldaris, their top goal scorer, a wonderful strike into the bottom corner. But just couldn't quite keep that going into extra time. But we saw the class come through with Halloran winning the penalty and then Dukali tucking away, who has been a bright spark since he's come on into the game.
Yep. Arguably changed things really for the Reds. Here's Steele. There's a trip on the edge of the box, and there might just be time for one last attack for Floreat Athena. So we tick over into just one additional minute. He might have actually stood on Isaias' foot there, but anyway, he's got the decision.
It's there for someone now to bang this in the top corner and make themselves a name in the last minute.
But Matty Yang is taking the responsibility. Grabbed the ball immediately once the whistle blew. See what he can do with it. It's not bad. Good save by Delianov. Got it on target. Dug out by Steele. It will be a throw, and that might just be that. But indicative of the positive mindset that they brought into this cup tie.
Yeah, it was a wonderful strike. And like you said, Simon, as soon as the free kick was given, he wanted it straight away. Took a good save from Delianov to deny him. Well, they've come right to the very end.
But it is not to be for Floreat Athena in the end. Professionalism prevails. They needed extra time to do it. The cup holders, the specialists, recording their 11th consecutive win in this competition as they march on to the round of 16. The end of a disappointing week for Floreat after losing the grand final, but today at least they did their club and their state proud. Stretching the cup holders to extra time thanks to Chris Saldaris' 56-minute strike that cancelled out that first half goal by Louis Dorigo, but in an extra time, that little bit of extra quality told. George Blackwood with the penalty and Yaya Dukali, who was terrific off the bench, sealing the deal for the Reds, and they go through. Floreat Athena 1, Adelaide United 3. And Daniel McBreen, sum it up for us.
Well, an intriguing game. Floreat Athena really pushed Adelaide all the way. Created opportunities. Number of players, McManus, Harding, causing problems for a majority of the match. But Adelaide just too good at the key moments, I guess.
And the key moments in extra time were at the Adelaide end of the pitch. That was one good save by Delianoff. He had to make another virtually with the final effort of the game off Matiang. And again, showed the spirit really of Floreat Athena, but in fairness, there were some tired legs at the other end as well.
Yeah, it was a long day. But they kept pushing. Youngsters coming on for Adelaide as well, having a good impact. Nice strike here, almost the last kick of the game. Still pushing to the end.
A long day, but an enjoyable day. And I hope you enjoyed it at home as well. Adelaide United, their cup reign goes on for now. Floreat Athena go off to milk the applause of their fan base, and they've deserved it. And Carl Viet knows his team has had a battle today, but they've come safely through. Hope you enjoyed our coverage here on 10 Play of this cup tie from WA. From myself, Simon Hill, Daniel McBreen, and the rest of the 10 team, it's goodbye for now.